What's up, guys? Pretend you don't see the ridiculous little GoPro setup I have right here. But we're gonna be running FZ6R today. It's once again thanks to Mountain Motorsports. We are gonna get to do a little first ride. A first ride, because my voice is gonna crack like a mug. So let's take a little ride in this thing. Ooh, the clutch is a lot softer. The clutch engages a lot sooner than my R6 does. Alright, so right off the bat, man, this thing is, oh wow, what was that beep? All I heard was boop beep. Interesting. I'm excited to get right on this. So this is the FZ. What does that mean? All I hear is, wait, let's see if it does want to do that. No? Okay, I don't know. The GoPro's just lost its mind, I guess. Wow, I picked the perfect time to go here. Alright guys, well first off, this is the FZ6R. This is Suzuki, or this is Yamaha's, like, ideal starter bike in my opinion. I get a lot of questions from you guys about what's a good bike to start on, and this is always the bike I recommend. It used to be the SV650, but this is the Yamaha equivalent of the SV650, and it's just really, it has an even power band, so it like increases in, you know, there's no like jump in power at any point like there is on my R6. A really soft back brake. But this is always the bike I recommend for starters, just because of an even power band, and it's easier to learn a motorcycle, riding a motorcycle with an even power band. But right off the bat, I feel like my arms are like way out here riding, and it's once again just similar to the FZ6R I rode last time. It's a very laid back body position, and the seat's really comfortable. I'm really surprised at how comfortable this seat is. But yeah, this is the, you know, if you want to get into motorcycling, you don't want to get in and start on something like a Ninja 250 or Ninja 300, or you're worried that you're going to outgrow it, because that does happen. You know, guys that get 250s and 300s that actually are going to ride a lot, you'll outgrow a bike. You'll definitely outgrow a bike. And most of the time, I mean, very rarely do I not recommend one of these bikes. I'm not sure if I like this wide arm angle thing, though. I don't feel like I have control of it. Not control of it, that's not really the correct word. But I feel like if I wanted to flick it around, I couldn't. And you know what, saying that and flicking it around, like going back and forth, I just don't like the way that feels at all. I'm actually surprised at how underpowered this bike feels. Like, maybe I just haven't got on it, but I am in a really high gear for that speed, so could have been that. Alright, so we're in first. Alright, so the bike does have a little bit of get up and go. Not as much as I would really expect, though, honestly. As compared to like something like the FZ6R, this bike doesn't feel like it has as much like gusto, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know, I just feel like this would be a perfect bike for somebody that you're not buying a bike to just be like, oh, I'm going through the turns, yeah. You're not buying a bike for that. If you're buying a bike to be like economical and you just want to cruise around and stuff like that, I feel like that is the type of person that needs this kind of bike. If you want to go to the mountains and stuff like that, I would not recommend this bike at all. Because going in the mountains, there's a lot of like little areas you just got to like flick back and forth. And I'm not saying you can't do that in this bike. I'm not saying that at all. I'm sure guys that have had an FZ6R, you know, and have learned that bike a lot, can ride really well on the mountains. I don't like this. I'm not a big fan of this at all. But that being said, you know, I'm a 600 super sport rider. That's what I ride on a daily basis. So, you know, I'm used to that leaned over feeling. And I guess, yeah, if I was gonna sum this bike up in one word, I would say soft. Everything feels soft. The back brakes feel soft. The back brakes are definitely soft. I'm gonna get off the bike for a second and let you guys check it out, since this is the one I went to last time. Okay. Alrighty. I'll park it here. I love the color scheme. The red, the white, and the black. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that. And the bike doesn't look bad at all. The bike looks solid. Get you guys a good look around of it. Get a little down shot. Yeah, I mean, it's super freaking clean. Pretty cool stuff. And you know, something like this could totally be my taste. I'm just not, my style of riding doesn't fit something like this. But I mean, you know, if you think about it, that's what makes this bike a great starter bike, is it is soft. You know, I'm an experienced rider. I'm not looking for, I don't know where this car went. I'm not looking for a bike that's soft. You know, I've ridden an R6 for years now, and that's just not the type of bike I'm used to riding. But I mean, if you're starting out, you want soft. You want a soft bike. You want to get used to, you know, using the throttle and learning the road as a motorcyclist. Because if you know how to drive, and then you think, oh, I know how to drive a car, I can just go jump on a motorcycle, I'll be fine. Driving on the streets in a motorcycle is totally different than riding a motorcycle on the streets. Because in a car, there's a whole different scenarios you have to deal with. And in a car, you're not used to people not seeing you, because most of the time people see you. I'm not saying they never do, but you have a lot more to deal with on a bike. Man, you know, starting out, this would be perfect. You have mirrors that really work well, so you can see behind you, and they're huge. These mirrors are absolutely massive. I can see behind me very easily. I'm not uncomfortable at all. Like, I could go hundreds and hundreds of miles on this thing with no problem. Like, no problem at all. This is a fantastic bike for a starter bike. Now, if you have any experience riding, or if you're looking for something to like go do some aggressive riding with, I would not recommend this bike. I would not recommend this bike at all. You know, if you're looking for something aggressive that's going to get you like in the mountains and hauling butt, don't get this bike. You know, you need to get a super sport. That's what you need to look into. You know, as a starter bike, fucking rock star is what this kind of thing is. And I've been with Yamaha. I've been riding Yamaha bikes for about 4 years now, and I'm a huge fan of the Yamaha bikes in general, engine and everything. They just feel really solid, and I love that. And this is no different. Like, just because it's soft, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's soft. It's just the type of bike that it is. You know, it's not a super sport. Like, it's not supposed to be like that. So don't buy this bike expecting, you know, to be going 130 or redlining at 16,000 RPMs. You know, at redlines it looks like 11.5 or 11.75. If you want a nice cruise around bike, but you want a slightly sporty bike, I think this is your go-to. If you want fairings, you know, like there's also the FZ6R that just came out that is an absolutely stellar bike, and I love the hell out of that one. I love that bike much more than I like this one. It has a little more grunt than this one does, but this bike is smooth, man. It's really smooth. So it all depends on what you're looking for, honestly. I keep hitting that button. Yeah, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a smooth bike, if you're starting out and you want to get into the Yamaha family, this would be a great bike. You will be able to learn how to ride very easily on this bike with no problems. So, and this is the first time I've ever rode an FZ6R, and for a very long time, I always recommended this bike as a starter bike, but I'd never ridden it. I had just, like, knowing the type of engine, the type of bike it is, I made assumptions. I'm glad today to be able to ride it and, you know, be able to tell you guys for sure, this is an amazing starter bike. An amazing starter bike. You're not going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to facilitate an environment for you to learn how to ride motorcycles really well. Also, you start out on this bike, perfect bike to make a transition to like an R6 or something like that, without the worry of, you know, eventually having to upgrade. Because this bike, you know, if you start getting on it, once you get like really comfortable, I don't see why you couldn't have this bike for 5 years. You know, 5 years to really learn how to ride. And then if you decide after those 5 years that, you know what, I love going to the mountains, and I love riding hard, and I love a really aggressive body position, you know, upgrade. That's when you upgrade. When you have gained all the knowledge you can out of a bike. This truck really wants to ride my butt. Yeah, it doesn't have that Yankee throttle like the R6 does. The R6, and when you twist that throttle, like right now, if I went like, this bike has a little build up, you know, like you give the throttle, it's like whoop, and then you start going. Nothing like a turbo or anything, but just like you can feel the engine working, and then it'll like start kicking in. That's what this bike gives me. It gives me that sense, that feeling. It's a solid bike, man. I like the way it feels. I'm happy to recommend this bike as a starter bike. I think the guys that get this starting out are going to have a really, really positive motorcycle riding experience. And it's not as expensive as a super sport, so if something does happen, if you do wreck, if you do low side it, it's not going to be as expensive to you know, fix and get repaired. I'm digging this one a lot. For a starter bike. For a starter bike or for a cruise around town bike. But you got to take into consideration my riding style, which is aggressive typically. But guys, I'm going to call that quits on the FZ6R. Amazing starter bike, really smooth. Yeah, great starter bike, really smooth. But when I say really smooth, I mean that in all sense of the word. And guys, this has been a Chaseontwowheels First Ride, brought to you by Mountain Motorsports. If it wasn't for those guys, these First Ride videos wouldn't be possible, so make sure to give them some love on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and let them know you appreciate letting me borrow these bikes and ride them for you. And yeah, a like on the video always helps it out. And guys, if you want to check out Mountain Motorsports, the guys that let me borrow this bike, there'll be a link in the description, so you can check them out. They're really cool guys, obviously, letting me borrow bikes and whatnot. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope this helps you out in deciding what bike you want to get. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later! That's Mischief. I am taking Mischief's intro, outro, extro, intro, outro.